have a lot that I want to go ahead and talk about, and believe it or not, this right here is in my lane. I love my people, and I love to go ahead and talk about Black history. I saw, I think it was like last week or maybe the week before last, Sonetta, you guys might be familiar with Sonetta studio. Guys, make sure you go ahead and check him out, where he had came up with a topic, and the topic says that how did Europeans get here and where did they come from? And you know good and well, guys, that's right there. That's in my lane right here. You know, I wanted to go and jump on this panel, but it was so many people that was on there. But yes, the topic was how did the Europeans get here and where did they come from biologically? You know, especially when it comes to our history. The rabbit hole goes very, very deep, but we have a very rich history, something that they don't want us to even know. And that's why we have a Ron DeSantis want to go ahead and get rid of all the history books, because they pretty much don't want us to know who we are, because pretty much they are embarrassed. They don't want to face the fact of all the stuff that the ancestors had did to our people. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to talk about it. We're going to dive deep in it. So guys, make sure you go ahead and hit like, comment, and share these videos for more unapologetic content. And like I say, you know, when it comes to my commentary, it's not for everybody. It's not that I'm being racist, and we just can't keep sweeping all this under the rug.
Because all this time, I've been saying and following the teachings of Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad, following the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and the Nation of Gods and Earths and Minister Farrakhan. And I always felt and believed that the Europeans come from us, that we produce all the colors of the color spectrum. And now y'all got me thinking other things, because I was checking out a lot of documentaries, and I'm looking like, wow, Homo sapiens. Then you got all the other, like all human beings are Homo sapiens sapiens. All human beings, whether they white, Chinese, whatever. And for y'all to think that the white man is just a different species that come from somewhere else, we can't procreate with a different species, sister. I'm talking to the sisters.
So let's go ahead and get to the second question. If the original man was a black man, why there's different races of people? Now right there, that's a very good question, because that's why the world is so divided today. And if you would go to Africa and ask the people what race of people they are, which most likely they're going to go ahead and tell you that they are Africans, and they might just go ahead and tell you what tribe they belongs to. You see, we as descendants of slaves, we don't have that privilege. We were stripped of that. And again, I'm going to say it, the Most High God had given who? Adam, which means earth, and Eve, which means the mother of the earth, dominion of it all. Some of you guys might catch this by tomorrow, so let me go ahead and repeat myself. The Most High God had given Adam and Eve dominion over it all, which means the earth is the Lord's, the original black man, and the fullness thereof. And that's Bible. So let's go ahead and get back to the book of Enoch, which is called the Dead Sea Scroll, because it was banned from the King James Version, which, like I said, explains clearly why King James will go ahead and take it out, just like he did some of the rest of the books. It said that he did at least 7. But I want to know what gave him the rights to go ahead and tamper with the word of God, which that's another question. So guys, I need you all to go ahead and hang on tight for more unapologetic content.
Chapter 105. 1. After a time, my son Methuselah took a wife for his son Lamech. 2. She became pregnant by him, and brought forth a child, the flesh of which was as white as snow, and red as a rose, the hair of whose head was white like wool, and long, and whose eyes were beautiful. When he opened them, he illuminated all the house, like the sun. The whole house abounded with light.
Let me go ahead and pause the video right quick and say this. I promise you that this book right here, the book of Enoch, would have been King James and white supremacists' favorite book of all the books in the Bible. And King James, he wouldn't have never ordered this book to be taken out if the verse would have just stopped with being light and bright eyes, because this right here is what they call Eurocentric standards. Anything that's light and bright eyes, which most likely it was blue, they think is beautiful, which is common with albinos. And like I said, this is not to offend anyone, because it doesn't change the fact that Noah, he still was black.
According to Mayo Clinic, a group of inherited...
But let's go ahead and continue.
3. And when he was taken from the hand of the midwife, opening also his mouth, he spoke to the Lord of righteousness. Then Lamech his father was afraid of him, and flying away came to his own father Methuselah, and said, I have begotten a son, unlike to other children. He is not human, but, resembling the offspring of the angels of heaven, is of a different nature from ours, being altogether unlike to us. For his eyes are bright as the rays of the sun, his countenance glorious, and he looks not as if he belonged to me, but to the angels. 5. I am afraid, lest something miraculous should take place on earth in his days. 6. And now, my father, let me entreat and request you to go to our progenitor Enoch, and to learn from him the truth, for his residence is with the angels. 7. When Methuselah heard the words of his son, he came to me at the extremities of the earth, for he had been informed that I was there, and he cried out. 8. I heard his voice, and went to him saying, Behold, I am here, my son, since thou art come to me. 9. He answered and said, On account of a great event have I come to thee, and on account of a sight difficult to be comprehended have I approached thee. 10. And now, my father, hear me, for to my son Lamech a child has been born, who resembles not him, and whose nature is not like the nature of man. His color is whiter than snow, he is redder than the rose, the hair of his head is whiter than white wool, his eyes are like the rays of the sun, and when he opened them he illuminated the whole house. 11. When also he was taken from the hand of the midwife, he opened his mouth, and blessed the Lord of heaven. 12. His father Lamech feared, and fled to me, believing not that the child belonged to him, but that he resembled the angels of heaven.
I can just stop right there, because the minute that Noah's father had said that the child doesn't resemble any of them, it let you know that his father was of a darker race. Now you see why King James had threw that book in the sea of forgiveness. But, like I always say, the truth's gonna always find its way back home, and that's real talk.
Even when you look at the DeSantis agenda right now, if we were organized, we would simply say, no problem. We pulling our children out the public.